Hey guys, welcome back or welcome to my channel. It has been a long while since I filmed a video. Sorry if anything is a bit weird. It's just getting dark, so I'm trying to film this video quickly while I still have natural lighting. I'm also very cold, so I'm going to go and quickly change. This isn't much better, but we're going to make do. So in today's video, we're going to be watching some terrifying stories from the Appalachian Mountains. If you know me, you know I'm very interested in Appalachian Mountains. Everything to do with spooky scary and everything to do with spooky scary TikToks. Apologies if I sound weird. I'm supposed to be getting my braces off soon and I have not been wearing my bands like I've been supposed to. So I'm wearing them now, otherwise they aren't going to take my braces off. So sorry if you can hear that in my voice. I don't know if it's only me, but yeah. So each TikTok user, you'll be able to see their username like on the screen and everything. So make sure you don't take credit for these stories from me, but we're just going to be watching a few of these just to creep ourselves out a little bit. So I think I did watch some of these, but I saved them on the 6th of October and it's now the 17th of October. So a long while ago, I don't remember anything from these, but we're going to get into it. I'm going to wear my chunky headphones and put the TikToks here, even though there might not actually be anything to watch.
This video will make you never want to set foot in a wooded area ever again, much less one in the Appalachian Mountains, because that's where this took place. So I'm scrolling on TikTok and I come across a haunting video. Someone is outside of the woods and they see something walking in the woods, I'm assuming, so they start recording, and when they zoom in, just watch.
Hey! What are you doing over there?
Y'all, what is that? Its arms are down to its feet. I hate it. I understand stuff like this is semi-easy to make, but that just doesn't look fake to me. I don't know. It doesn't look fake to me. It scared me. I don't like it. I was already scared of the woods from what I've experienced. I'm good. I'm good. I'm so terrified. What was that? Why did it look like that?
First off, I absolutely love this creator. I watch her religiously. She makes the best videos. She actually lives, I think, in Appalachia. You need to go check her out. She's great. And second of all, I don't even want to think twice about what the hell that was. So we're just going to swiftly move on to the next story.
Being born and raised in the Appalachian Mountains, I've experienced a lot of unexplainable things. And I'm not the only one. Today I'm going to be sharing a story with you that a follower sent to my email. I moved to Pennsylvania right after turning 15. Before that, I lived on the West Coast, so I had no knowledge of what happened in the Appalachian Mountains. Nothing about those rules like closing your curtains at night or not responding to your name being called when nobody's around. In our house, we had a crawl space on the second floor. I had claimed the bedroom with the door to the crawl space. And once summer started next year, I started hearing scratching coming from inside of the crawl space. I thought it was a squirrel, but my dad couldn't find anything inside. The scratching continued, but I ignored it. At some point, I thought I could hear my name being called from behind the door. Now, my parents were very religious. I was taught that if I heard my name being called, it was the Holy Ghost trying to tell me something or trying to comfort me. I said a silent prayer to myself when I heard my name being called in that house. I think I had really just got lucky and I had moved out of that bedroom and into a different bedroom without the crawl space after my sister had left for college and I got to move into her room. I had another experience in that house soon after I turned 18. I was packing up my bags, getting ready to move away from college, and I had a lot of anxiety because of that. Something that helped me was getting fresh air. It was already nighttime, but I stepped out on the back porch to get some fresh air. The moon was really bright that night, and I could see most of the yard very well. It was a large yard, roughly 6 acres, with a creek and a wooded area to one side, a hill and a wooded area on the opposite side of the creek, and behind a small pond in the back of the yard was the road. I knew this area had animals that were out and about, especially late at night, so I took a look around to see if I could spot a fox or a deer. At the road, I could see what looked like 2 glowing eyes attached to some figure. It looked like a deer, but it was staring at me, and the porch light was on, so it was very clearly lit. I thought it was kind of cool until it started getting closer. The yard was massive, and there was a rough 3 to 4 acres of land between the road and the house. This thing was moving fast and moving very intently. It got over the guardrail and was making a straight line towards me. Even with the moonlight, I couldn't really make out what it was, but at that moment, I thought it was like a wolf or something. I ran inside, locked the doors, turned out the light, and ran into my bedroom. I spent the rest of the night underneath my blankets and muttering prayers to myself. In the morning, I told my dad about the animal I had saw outside last night, and he had only found some scratches on the wood on the porch.
He only found some scratches. Well, that would be enough for me to just, like, leave. Do you know what I mean? That's terrifying. Whether that was something supernatural or not, horrendous, horrifying, disturbing.
I grew up in Appalachia, so I'm going to share some rules that I had growing up. Because some of the stuff that y'all are doing really stresses me out, and you're not making good decisions. Don't be outside after the sun goes down. Better yet, don't be outside after the porch lights come on. And where I grew up, there weren't porch lights to see, but you get the drift. Especially not alone. If you hear voices in the woods, no you didn't. Let's just hope it's poachers. Hopefully it's just poachers. But it might not be. Let's not risk it. You don't whistle in the woods. Better not to stay in the woods either. If you're hiking, keep your eyes ahead. Look at your trail, look at where you're going, but don't linger. And don't stare at anything that's staring back at you. I say don't look in the trees for a reason. There are things that are out there staring back. And you don't want to activate their prey drive. Keep your protection on you. I always carry cedar, sage from my garden, and jewelry from a loved one. Don't egg it on like some of y'all are. It's disrespectful and stupid. Have more respect for the woods than that.
So that one clearly wasn't a story, but there are some things that I want to talk about there. Like whistling. I'm so weird about whistling. Like, if you try and whistle in my house, you're out. You're out. I don't know if it's a superstition, if it makes me feel uneasy. I think it's a mixture, but you're out if you try and whistle in my house. And just whistling in general. I mean, whistling inside, anywhere, whistling even outside. I can't whistle, so that's good. But I hate it so much. There's something off-putting about whistling, let alone in the woods in Appalachia. Like, you've got to be stupid. I mean, unless you're doing it, like, to just, like, entertain yourself, you know? But I feel like the people only do that in, like, movies and stuff. People don't actually do that.
I live in a town where we aren't allowed to go outside after dark. It's not just a rule, it's a law. It's etched into every fabric of our community's existence. And there are even alarms on every door that are set at night. Doesn't matter if you're a child or our eldest elder, you are not allowed outside after dark. Now, growing up in this town and being a teenager and being rebellious as I was, I felt this restriction weighing me down like a weighted blanket. And I wasn't the only teenager who felt like this. One night, me and my friends decided to find out what this was about. We all planned a slumber party at our friend's house when we knew their parents would be out of town. There were 5 of us. We were a little scared, to be honest. We had never been outside after dark our entire lives, which kind of promotes the fear of the dark. Now, we all have trackers on our phones, so we left them inside, and we all brought flashlights of some sort. My friend Chuck had his very own lantern. Now, even though we weren't allowed to go outside, our parents kept these things in case of power outages and things like that. Once the sun went down, we started fighting over who was going to go out first. Because what if something horrifying happened? What if we were just whisked away the moment we took a step outside the door? We were rebellious, but we were still afraid. Filled with excitement and nervous anticipation, Chuck said, "I'll go first." So he unlocked the back door, and we all piled out one by one, the 5 of us. Looking back, I wish I could have told myself, just stop, it's not worth it. At first, when we got outside, it was all excitement, and it felt like a game. But as minutes pressed into us spending hours outside, I started to get an uneasy feeling. The forest around our houses began to come alive. We were hearing sounds we'd only ever heard muffled before, like howling of wolves. Surely our parents couldn't have just been worried about some animals. And then, without warning, it happened. A strange sound echoed through the trees. We all froze. Our hearts were pounding in our chests. And then suddenly, my friend Emily goes, "Where's Chuck?"
This one isn't from Appalachia, obviously, but I think I just saved that because I came across it and I love those kinds of stories, and I just thought I'd include it as a little extra.
I once dreamed of living in the privacy of the deep Pennsylvania woods, but Then I read some of the dark stories from the Appalachian Trail, and I later decided maybe not. From Maine all the way to Georgia, the Appalachian Trail boasts the beauty of over 2,000 miles of 8 national forests, 6 national park units, and many state parks, forests, and game lands. But as we know, darkness is often very attracted to light, and even something as beautiful as the Appalachian Trail has witnessed its demons, including the hiking enthusiasts who have made the journey. Some hikers have even taken to the internet to share their stories about the unsettling encounters they've had while on the trail. Like this hiker, for example, who details their experience with the mountain people on the trails of Northeast Pennsylvania. Pause the video here to read their story.
Okay, I'm gonna read it to you. I spent the majority of my life in PA. Is that Pennsylvania or something? I don't know. So a majority of my hikes have been in the PA wilderness. I can honestly say I've never seen anything weird. However, I got you with creepy. In Northeast PA, around the Appalachian Trails, the homeless people congregate and form communities. That is not creepy. It gets effing cold up here. I'm sure it takes a community working together to get through the winter outside. Anyways, while hiking, it's not unusual to stumble across a community. The creepy part. It's known on the trails that they protect their camps with extreme violence. If you find one, do not disturb anything. Well, anyways, these communities can be pretty big. 20 to 30 makeshift tents / shelters set up in the middle of the woods. Well, when you accidentally wander across one of the camps, they are always empty. But the fires are still going and the food is still cooking, so you know there is a bunch of people straight up watching you that are hiding. I always tried to make sure that I was not intently looking at any tents or belongings, pretty much just trying to keep my eyesight straight, and made my way as far as possible across those camps. Never once have I even seen one of them, so it doesn't really make you feel safe at all, lol. Anytime I wandered into the camp, I made a mental note to never hike up that area again unless in a group.
Along with these creepy encounters, there have also been 10 confirmed and documented murders on the Appalachian Trail. The first one in 1974 in Georgia, and also 3 that happened in Pennsylvania. One of these horrific double murders on the trail took place in 1990 at the Thelma Mark shelter near the top of Cove Mountain in Duncannon, PA. It was here that a young 25 and 26-year-old couple was shot and stabbed to death by a crazed man who was also a wanted killer running from the police in Florida. And the details of this tragedy are absolutely horrifying. If you'd like a part 2 that walks through the story, let me know in the comments. In the meantime, I just have to know. What strange encounters have you had, if any, on the Appalachian Trail? Share your stories in the comments.
None, because I will never go, because I'm sane, because I'm not stupid. This is actually the last one, but I'm just going to get on with it because it's really getting dark.
So you know how they're constantly telling you on TikTok to not look in the trees? Well, this is one of the reasons why. But before I tell you, hi, my name is Ashley and I talk about crime, creepy, and unbelievable stories. So if you're into that, check out my TikTok and YouTube. The links are in my bio. So Appalachia is known for having dozens of cryptids and even more creepy stories about what happens out in the woods. It takes up quite a large portion of the United States and even crosses into Canada. One of the reasons they're telling you to not look into trees is because of these guys. They're called devil monkeys. Of course, there's no actual proof, but there are dozens and dozens of stories. They're described to look very much like a primate, but they're also said to have a very unusual snout. It almost resembles something like a dog. They're also said to stand somewhere between 5 and 8 feet tall.
That looks like
and they switch from walking on all fours to jumping on 2 feet. And the worst of all is that they're said to be extremely aggressive. The reason you don't want to look into the trees is because that's where they hide. They're said to camouflage, but according to locals, you can see the trees moving on their own, almost as if there were some sort of monkey swinging on them. And if these devil monkeys spot you looking at the trees and they realize that you've spotted them, that's when you're in trouble. So if you just happen to be looking in the trees and you notice something odd, don't run, just walk away.
Or just don't go in the first place. The sun is really going down and it's only 6 p.m, which makes me quite sad. But there you go. I hope you enjoyed some little stories from the Appalachian Mountains. Like I said, obviously all the TikTok creators are in the videos. You should definitely go check them out. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I will be back again very soon to talk about absolutely nothing. Bye.